Okay, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. All you fantastic singer-songwriters out there who are looking to use Ableton Live for your songwriting purposes. So today, now that I got my new system up and running, recording system, screen recording, and really nice audio in that, today what I'm going to show you are two things. I'm going to show you about velocity, Ableton's velocity, on a virtual instrument, which in this case is a bass. It's an electric bass guitar, which is a contact instrument. Okay, and I'm going to show you how we say using the velocity affects the playability, the sound of how it is played and recorded by the producers of this instrument. The other thing I'm going to show you then is the pipeline that I use when it comes to saving my work and putting the song into an MP3 player, to listen to and evaluate and listen to what next needs to be done for the next session. So first off, I'll show you what I'm talking about here with velocity, and we'll work just with this bass instrument. So if I take, we say, just this passage here is very melodic, and I love melody, so I tend to go overboard a bit with melody. Especially this song is not that upbeat, or I don't want it to be that upbeat, even though the message overall of the song itself is upbeat. I don't really want too much of a varying and wandering melodic line, even though I have it here. I may keep it in the song, but that's my theory for the song, which doesn't always work out or pan out when it comes to actually playing. So if you want to hear the bass within this passage, it's just after the third verse, and there's an instrumental section here. So if I just play that,
and the wings are put to rest, where words can no longer express.
there's also a bowed piano, also called a prepared piano. But you listen to the bass there. Control, Shift, and F to follow in Ableton. Your first control button, then the shift button, then F to follow. Should you do it again?
And the wings are put to rest, where words can no longer express.
And if I just solo that, you can hear it then. It's great legato in this instrument. And then let your light, and we're back into the fourth verse. So I'll keep that solo just to. So in relation to velocity anyway, when you're down in the MIDI editor, like if you double click on the header of the instrument, okay, what you see here is I have an external instrument. I'll explain that in a later video. There are videos up online on about all this stuff, but Live lets you put in like, it's kind of like a placeholder for the instrument that's actually up in the contact, and you route it out to this here. As you can see here, the MIDI goes to that, and then the audio goes to that. Right, so that's the default contact instrument. That's that there, and that is the number of instruments routed out, and then that is the audio out. And you have to set that up in contact. I'll show you that later. I won't get into that right now, but you can see you can turn it on and off there. Okay, that's also automatable. Everything is automatable in Ableton, which is why I absolutely love this program. You see the gain here? That's the volume level for this particular instrument. And what I have is I have a side chain to the keys That's just side chain compression. I'll explain that if anybody wants tutorials on any of these. This is all over the internet. People have loads of videos up on all this stuff. But I can also do some if somebody wants them. You know, if they find my particular way of articulating an idea to be helpful, then I can do that as well. Sidechain, so like when the piano plays or when the voice sings and the piano's going at the same time, the keys will take the hint from this to actually drop down in volume as my voice plays. That's sidechain compression, set the peak. That is like an amp simulator for the bass. So not only do I have like a sample electric bass playing, I also have an amp simulator playing over at Mark Studio 2 done by Overloud, if anybody wants to check it out. Yeah, again, you can turn it on and off. The EQ, that's my own particular adaptation for the EQ for bringing out certain frequencies in the bass. But so like, when you double click on the header, you get up that default view. But if you either double click on the ribbon, the header of the actual track in the timeline, you get that. Okay, so but if you want to switch between the two, you can just hold down Shift and then Tab. All right, holding down Shift, you press Tab to whichever one you want, which is pretty handy. So what we're going to focus on here is the velocity in the bass, and you need to have this little headphone symbol turned on in order to hear what you're doing. You know, so like say take this note here, right? Okay, we grab that, left click and hold. That's now 56. If I drag it all the way up, now it's not just getting louder in volume. What's actually happening there is those are actually recorded samples by the bass guitarist actually pulling the string harder. And as you up the velocity on that, it actually engages those samples that have been pulled harder on the string. So it's actually just like the bass player going, I'm going to play this harder now because I feel more expressive, and I'm going to pull on it, and then we're out of that and into the next, and it flows. You know, it's fantastic. So I'm just going to go Control Z, bring that back down. In this particular one, when you go below 32 or 33, something like that, it becomes muted. So you'll hear it now, watch. Hear that? Alright. Control Z to return to what it was, 56. And when I'm actually doing this, when I'm creating the melody of a particular sampled instrument, I imagine myself as the player, as the musician playing that instrument, and I play through the song and I think, where does this need more expression? There's more velocity here. What's the voice doing? What's the piano doing? And I find a base level for the volume. You know, I find a basic level for the volume, and then find out how that works best with the velocity. All right. And that's true for most instruments. Not all velocity is recorded and allowed to become through these little lollipop stick velocity faders. Okay, not every sample instrument does that. Oftentimes you have to use the envelope here and go to MIDI and up to expression. Where is it there? And you draw an automated line, parameter line for the expression. And sometimes it's not on expression, it's on another one, you know. It just depends on how the developers of that particular sampled instrument did their thing, you know. And you've got to be aware of those things and allow for them and work with them. So that's it basically for velocity on a sample instrument, a contact instrument today. The other thing that I want to show you is how I save and archive my work. Okay, so this is really quickly, I'm going to show you how to do this. So say you finished your session, all right, and you want to render the song out. You double click on that, because look where it plays off from. Oh, it plays from the start. Okay, but say it was here. By the way, if you want to play from where the playhead has stopped, the cursor is glowing there, you see that? Basically what you do is you hold down Shift on your, this is all this is all on Windows, by the way. I'm not a Mac user, so I can't say for. You'll have to translate it with Mac. Okay, I think it's Command or for Control and stuff like that. But with the PC, it's Shift and then spacebar to play from where you left off. Right. Otherwise, if say you so say you're playing along. See there now, it's stopped there. Where is it stopped? It's stopped there. Okay, even though the playhead is there. So if you hold down Shift and play, it'll continue from here.
Where words can no longer express.
Right, now I'm not going to hold down Shift. I'm just going to press the space bar, and the space bar will play it from the playhead. Watch. You see? All right, that's the difference. So guys, I'm just going to throw little pointers like this about Ableton Live at you all the time, so that you'll pick up the information. Some of you will already know it, some of you won't, and I'll try not to repeat too much in the different videos, but I'll just say it out there as I think of it. All right, okay. So so how I save these things is you got to make sure, even though the playhead is there, if you render it now, it'll render from there, I think, upwards to there. I could be wrong about that, but I think it does. So what you always double check that you've got it playing from the start, and to do that you double click on the square, right there, you double click from the square, and now it'll play from the very start. Okay, and that's my space bar. I keep tapping on the keyboard. All right, so now what we do is double click on that, just get the playhead back, and Control, Shift and S. All right, and then I save it. All right, ask me, do I want to replace it? I would usually say yes, but I'll say no this time. Okay, and so you save and replace that one. Yes. All right, next thing you do is, once you've saved it, it's always important to save it on a regular basis. What you do then is Control, Shift, R. Okay, this brings up the export options panel. Basically, you have the master. That's what the render track is. The master. It's rendering out everything that's going into the master. The render length is up to here, which is 69.2 bars. The file type of render is WAV. Sample rate is 44,100, and the bit depth is 24. No dither, and then we export. All right, now what I do is export to a folder. All right, this is my I wish I was Ableton Live project folder, and I made a folder in here called WAV. It wasn't in here already. I made it myself. New folder, and you do that. Okay, so like that, and then I save it. All right, we go save, and do you want to replace it? I'll say yes. All right, now it's going to render out like that. It takes a little bit of time, so hope all this is sounding good for you people out there. And I won't pause it because I want you to see the little titles that come up here. This wasn't always the case with Ableton Live. Only in Ableton Live 9 or maybe 9.2 or 9.3 or 1 even, they started to show you what was happening in the background with the rendering. So it's saying now it's rendering audio at 48,000 hertz. Okay, and when it gets done, it's quite slow now because I have about 3 other programs going at the moment, but it's usually much faster than that on this computer. Now see, look, it's resampling down to 44,100. all right, hertz on the master. Now it's going to convert the bit depth. You'll see it here on the master. There you go, convert bit depth master. Okay, so now what that did was it rendered, and I'll just get up my, this is a little mobile hard drive. I keep everything on that, all right? And I wish I was. And basically, this is small little kind of hand-sized mobile, which is I see as the intercessor between my computers and my external hard drives. I have two 2 terabyte hard drives, one in another part of the country, one here, and basically I save to both and copy to both on a regular basis, but obviously more to the one down here on a regular basis. So now it is going, so that I'm just showing you that there. It's open now. So basically we saved out, when that rendered out, it rendered out the WAV to this folder, right? The WAV in my Ableton Live, I Wish I Was project folder. And when I double click in there, you see I Wish I Was 4, okay? And so now what we do is, that's been done. All right, now what I normally do is I do a little bit of mastering after this. I'll show you a little bit of that right now actually. So that's done, that's saved. I got Control N for new. And do I wish to save the changes? No, because I've already saved them. And click on no. And what we do is, that's loading the template set. I have a template set up on this. And I have Ozone 5 as my mastering program set up on this audio channel here. So what I do is, I go straight in, grab the WAV, take the WAV up to there. All right. And let's play that now and hear how that sounds. So on the maximizer, we'll go to the loudest part of the song first.
Breathe the air and take to wing, and the song for you to sing.
Now I'm clipping on my headphones here, and it's very digitally sounding because it's coming through 2 other programs. I think it's coming through one at least, which is Voice Meter, but I wouldn't normally have that sound. So I'm also using the driver that's Ableton is using the Voice Meter, this program here, which is how I'm actually recording my voice at the moment. I'm using their driver inside in Ableton. I'll show you that there. Look, options, and you see ASIO Voice Meter Virtual ASIO. And that's how I'm getting all the sounds to work right. Okay. Normally I would use this one, which is very fast, very clear, very warm driver for my external sound card. It's designed for it. But I'm using this one because the sound's coming through, and that's okay. You're hearing it fine. I'm just hearing it very steely. But anyway, you heard that there. You saw that. Look on the maximizer.
Breathe the air and take to wing, and the song for you to sing.
So there are a few peaks coming down, clipping on the audio. In mastering, it's generally accepted that that's not too bad. That's okay. Most of the vocal there is fine. This is what I do myself. I want to be corrected by people who are in the know at any point on this. I'm totally open to it, but I do know that I think in current day mastering, that would be clipped right down like that.
And the song for you to
well, not that bad, but higher than what it was. And they get a balance between that and the dynamics, you know. So if we go to the compressor, let's go.
Breathe the air and take to wing, and the song for you to sing.
So about 3. I usually accept about 3 for that on the bass there. And website, that's okay.
Breathe the air,
2,
take to wing, and the song for you to sing.
but 2 or 3 in that as well.
Breathe the air, take to wing, and the song for you to sing.
And so you basically get a play between the dynamics and the maximizer.
Breathe the air,
It's okay to have those few little, see, it's not coming down really at all. As long as in big passages like that where you see a space, it stays up above it, that's fine. For me anyway. Might be too low for some people in limiting their music, but that's what I do. I'm still learning on the mastering side of things. At the moment, it's the mixing I've covered really. I've learned all about in the last 3 years. Going to do a little bit more on mastering. That's how I master my song straight out of the box, straight out of the session, to put on my MP3 player in order to listen to it on my MP3 player as I want to make changes in the mixing for the day after, you know. So this is my pipeline, guys. I'm basically showing you this. I think I can take 4 off that. Yeah, I can. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and backspace, right click and go down and show fades, and just fade up to the end there like that. And this is not finished kind of stuff at all. Like, this is just how I know it'll sound fairly decent. Shift and hold and click. Now I've got the whole thing selected. And what we do is I will go that render thing again. So it's Control Shift R for render. And this time I will render this into my MP3 folder, but I'll take the name. See, look, it's untitled. So what I'll do is I'll click once on that. This is in the WAV folder. Click once on that, back up into that folder and into my MP3 folder, and I'll render it in here. And what I'll show you why I do that. Right, I'm rendering that now. And while that's rendering, I go and I grab this little program, iWay Soft Free Converter, which is a great little converter for MP3s, I find. Rendering the audio now, and basically when that's done, I'll show you how I then treated it to get it ready for my MP3 player to listen to as an MP3. So we'll just click out of that. That's done. Alright, click out of that, and then I go into that MP3 folder, and there's the WAV, there's the last MP3, and I delete that one because I'm going to be making an MP3 in here. So let me just have a listen to that.
Let your light.
Yeah, that's fine. It's complete. It's in there. So what I do now is I drag that down onto my converter, audio and video converter. The video converter I think is not great on this, but maybe I'm using it wrong. But I'll show you there now. You see, I have it set up to actually save into this folder. See, look there, local disk J. I wish I was project MP3, and the profile is set to MP3 in common audio. All right, and then the settings are 320 kbps kilobytes per second, and 2-channel stereo, 48,000 hertz. That's quite big. This will be a big enough file, but this is for me to listen to as I walk around on my MP3 player. So my MP3 player, by the way, is Creative Zen. They're fantastic little ones. Windows has detected that your computer's performance is slow. Are you kidding me? I have 3 major programs running on it. Give me a break. Okay, so basically that is a nice lush soundscape resolution MP3 for me to listen to on my Creative Zen, which is a great MP3 player. So anybody ever wants to get serious about listening to their music in good quality, get themselves a Creative Zen player. They have a new line. Oh, great! Change the color scheme. Nice one. Fine, thank you. And you'll hear your music in just all the resolutive quality it was supposed to be listened. Of course, with a good pair of headphones. I use, even though my headphones, they're only about 14 euros or something like that. They're Sennheisers, and they're a little bit in the bright end, but at the same time, just show up all the detail of the music, of the resolution. So I highly recommend them. Okay, so we're going to do that now. I wish I was. Did I drag that in? I can't remember. Cripes. I'm not sure, so I'll clear it and I'll drag that in. And there we go. And we start and watch up here. Boom. There we go. It's in. And I have it set so that none of these options activate when it finishes. Alright. And if I go up to, let's see, and what I'll do now is I know I'm going to have a listen anyway just in case. Make sure it's all done. Yeah. So we'll delete the WAV. And right click on that, rename, take away the underscore and 1. And now that is an MP3. That's 320 kilobytes per second. And it is, look, 5.94 megabytes, which is big-ish for an MP3, but I think totally acceptable if you love your music, you know. So now what I'm going to do is to music. What music? Yeah. So because I'm not used to the way that usually comes up in a lot of little windows, because it changed this color scheme because it read my computer was a bit slow. It's after changing the way these windows pop up. So drag that down to there, up to music. Please give me music. Yes, there we go. So now what I'm going to do is drag it, copy to Owen Killeen album 2, which is basically the songs I'm working on for the next album or EP. Not sure yet, but that's what I've named it anyway. So I'll drag it in there. Hang on a second. What I'll do is I'll just open this up first. See, there's the previous one. So I'm going to delete that. Delete that. That's deleted. And drag that in. Okay. And yep. And basically what I do here is I go to music, I right click on that title, rename it, hover the cursor over it, and I hit Control C, Control C, Control C, Control C a few times to be right with it. And basically what that does is it copies the title, so that when I go to here, this is a great way, guys, especially with Creative Zens, they don't keep the songs in the folder unless you specify the album that the song is in, you know. So as you can see down here in Windows 7, it allows you to actually, so I'm going to go Control V, and now it's basically I've titled the album the title that it is in the music folder in my Creative Zen, and it won't stray. When I go to look at the display on my Creative Zen, when I go to the folder music, when I go to the folder Owen Killeen album 2, that song will be in there. It won't be spread out or just free floating around inside my Creative Zen. So that holds it within that folder. I didn't know this for ages, but then I found out just by typing away, and that stuff below is great. Okay, now I'm going to go to type my name into the contributing artist, and Killeen. All right, and then we go to album artist, which is myself. Okay, we save on that, and it takes a while. Funnily enough, when you rename these things, there's a bit of computing power goes into it. Couldn't choose those for a bit. So now I click out of that, and what we have, that's done now. So that is a copy of that is in my MP3. What I do here is I go to my local disk, which is a little mobile hard drive, and I right click on the actual overall Ableton project of that song, right click on, and I send to my documents. And it wants me to overwrite. I say yes, copy and replace all files, 6 conflicts, and do that. Do this for all 6 items you want to merge the folder, and I say yes. All right, so basically now I'm sending a copy to my documents, so that even if my mobile hard drive was to die or fall or damage or get damaged or whatever, I know I'd have a copy from that morning's work or evening's work in my documents. It's so important to duplicate your work all the time. Okay, so I think that about wraps it up. I hope you've all had a good time learning from this session of singer-songwriters in Ableton Live. Thank you all for your kind attention and your continued viewing. Take care, and if you like the thing, obviously subscribe. I'm not going to say any more than that. Cheers. Bye now.